This is Wei Chen, and today we break down what's really happening. For decades, the United States has been seen as the most powerful nation on Earth. Its military dominates the seas, its currency controls global trade, and its influence reaches into almost every corner of the world. But something has changed. Quietly, slowly, and now very visibly. America is entering a kind of conflict it was never designed to win. Not because it's weak, but because the rules of the game have changed and it hasn't fully adapted. Let's start with the biggest misconception. Most people still think of war in the old way: tanks, missiles, soldiers on the ground. But modern conflict doesn't work like that anymore. Today, wars are fought across multiple dimensions at the same time: economic pressure, cyber attacks, supply chain disruptions, information warfare. And in this new kind of war, there is no clear battlefield, which means there is no clear victory. And that is America's first problem. Because the US military is built for decisive victories, not endless, invisible conflicts. Look at history. From World War II to the Cold War, America succeeded because it could define the enemy, define the battlefield, and apply overwhelming force. But today, who exactly is the enemy? Is it China? Is it Russia? Is it Iran? Or is it a network of alliances, economic systems, and shifting global interests? This is where things become complicated. Because America is no longer facing a single opponent. It's facing a system that is slowly moving away from its control. Take the global economy. For decades, the US dollar has been the backbone of international trade. Oil, commodities, global transactions, all priced in dollars. This gave America an enormous advantage. It could print money, and the world would absorb it. It could impose sanctions and cripple entire economies. But now, that system is starting to crack. Countries are beginning to trade in their own currencies. China and Russia are bypassing the dollar. Regional alliances are forming new financial systems. And slowly, very slowly, the world is reducing its dependence on the United States. This doesn't mean the dollar will collapse tomorrow, but it does mean something more dangerous. America is losing leverage. And without leverage, power becomes harder to project. Now let's talk about military reality. On paper, the US military is still the most advanced in the world. No country comes close in terms of global reach. But modern warfare is no longer about who has the biggest army. It's about who can make war too expensive to win. And this is exactly what America's rivals have figured out. Instead of trying to defeat the US directly, they are making conflict slow, costly, and unpredictable. Missile systems that can target aircraft carriers, drones that cost thousands but destroy equipment worth millions, cyber attacks that disrupt infrastructure without firing a single shot. This is called asymmetric warfare. And in asymmetric warfare, the stronger side doesn't always win. Because the weaker side doesn't need victory. It only needs to make victory impossible. Now consider geography. If a conflict breaks out near China's borders, China has the advantage. If tensions rise in Eastern Europe, Russia has proximity. But the United States? It has to project power across oceans, which means longer supply lines, higher costs, greater vulnerability. And in a prolonged conflict, these disadvantages begin to matter a lot. Now let's go deeper. There is another factor most people ignore: internal pressure. No empire collapses from the outside alone. It weakens from within. And the United States is facing increasing internal challenges: political division, economic inequality, public distrust. These don't just affect society, they affect strategy. Because long wars require unity. They require public support. They require patience. And right now, those elements are fragile. Compare that to some of America's rivals. They operate under different systems. They can sustain long-term strategies without the same level of internal resistance. That doesn't make them stronger overall, but it does give them an advantage in prolonged conflict scenarios. Now here's where things become critical. America is not losing in the traditional sense. It's not being defeated on the battlefield. Instead, it's being stretched. Across regions, across conflicts, across responsibilities. Europe, Middle East, Asia Pacific. At the same time, this creates strategic overload. And when a nation is stretched too thin, it becomes reactive instead of proactive. It responds instead of controlling. And once that shift happens, the balance of power begins to change. Now let's address the uncomfortable truth. Can America still win a war? Yes. In a direct, short-term conflict, the United States is incredibly powerful. But that's not the kind of conflict it's facing. It's facing long-term competition, a slow, grinding shift in global power. And in that kind of scenario, winning is not about defeating an enemy. It's about maintaining influence over time. And that is much harder, because influence depends on economic strength, global trust, strategic alliances, and all three are being tested. Now, this doesn't mean America is finished. Far from it. It still has enormous advantages: innovation, military capability, alliances across the world. But the gap is closing, and for the first time in decades, the outcome is uncertain. So what does this mean for the future? It means the world is entering a new phase, a multipolar world, where power is distributed, where no single country can dominate completely. And in that world, there are no clear winners, only shifting balances and constant tension. So when we say America can't win this, we don't mean it will lose everything. We mean something more subtle. It cannot win in the way it used to, with clear victories, clear dominance, clear control. Instead, it must adapt to a world where power is shared, where conflicts are complex, and where success is measured not by victory, but by survival and influence. The question now is not whether America is strong. It is. The real question is, can it evolve fast enough to match the new reality? Because if it can, it remains a central force in the world. But if it cannot, then the shift we are witnessing today will only accelerate. This is Wei Chen, and the world is changing faster than most people realize.